Hiya, I'm a Zamen, and I love fan games. I've said this across two videos I've undertaken, one that I've already released and one that is coming soon. This time, it's going to be about a newly released game, Rei Reiho's Awesome Adventure by Guy, which is exactly what the title implies, because this is a genuinely good game. With 5 short and sweet first-person dungeon crawling experiences, a paper doll dress-up game where you can dress up Rei Reiho with weapons and armor, and most surprisingly, a very good battle system, reminiscent of Devil Summoner Soul Hackers. If you've enjoyed either of the Devil Summoner games, or just happen to think Rei Reiho's design is cool, then go ahead and play this fan game. It's got a fun little story, and is only about 4 hours max. I beat it in about 4.5, but part of that playtime included me jotting down notes to write in this video. The download link is in the description below. But if playing video games ain't your style, then settle down as I take you through the Rei Reiho's Awesome Adventure experience. Set after the events of the first Devil Summoner but before Soul Hackers, this game picks up with Rei Reiho left alone at the Kuzunoha Detective Agency. After her partners, both Kyoji Kuzunoha's original guy and Devil Summoner Protag, have already left without her. She was apparently supposed to go with Kyoji to Amami City. It's incredibly inconsiderate, especially since there's still a few cases left to solve in the city. So before Rei can head off to Amami, we have to stop by Mary Kisaragi's office, who is apparently a familiar face from Devil Summoner. I wouldn't know, I didn't play it, I only watched the Marsh video. However, before meeting Mary, I did some exploring and found Madame Ginkgo, who lets me know that there's some kind of Phantom Society plot underway that we need to stop. Soul Hackers! And Rei will need to leave for Amami City by the day's end. I like the active attempt to bridge this to Soul Hackers, it's super endearing. So let's kick this little side story off by talking to Mary, who informed me of a masked man being spotted in the sewers spraying poisonous gas everywhere. It's not like an actual person. Mary explains that the general public's anxieties and fears from the recent subway attacks have taken physical form as a demon. She is referencing the very real 1995 Tokyo subway sarin attack where the Shinrikyo cult killed 13 people and harmed 1,000 others with a poison gas attack. It's a very tragic incident with a lot of story behind it. Back to Mary, she hands me 10,000 yen and I'm booted out of her fortune-telling shop to go gear up. As you can see here, this game does indeed have first-person dungeon crawling. No demons yet though, as I get to relax and explore the Yaraiginza Mall. Movement feels very smooth, no lag. In terms of shopping, I made sure to pick up 3 medicines from the general store, a pair of nunchucks and a revolver from the self-defense store, which upon equipping, I can actually see it on Rei. Remember at the start when I mentioned that paper doll dress-up game? Well, here it is. All equipable weapons, armors, and accessories are reflected on Rei's art. Pants, jackets, undershirt, accessories, and both hands can be customized. And I'm not going to talk about armors quite yet, because those are really unique. Though here's a fun fact, in this game, armor does not provide a defense boost. With that explained, I'm gonna head out onto the map, which is pretty par for the course. It's just like SMT1 and SMT5. Crazy how it be like that. Down in the bottom right corner is the sewers and I can begin my descent by first getting to pick my demon. Either Kijamuna or Mandrake. I decided to take Mandrake as I can recall that in at least one game, maybe for Apocalypse, they had Dia. This Mandrake does not have that, but it does have Zan, but it's really weak. At least it can take some hits for Rei. Now, the sewers are the introduction dungeon. There's no gimmicks here, just a couple of different paths you can take, with treasure around each dead end. Make sure to turn on Rei's mapper spell so you can keep track of where you're going. It's very helpful. Apparently the D key is able to automatically turn it on and off, but it was spotty for me, so I just went into Rei's spell list, and in that spell list you can also find Traport, which will instantly return Rei to the Kuzunoha Detective Office. Make sure to use it when you run out of MP and HP, there's no shame. In this spell list there's also the typical fire and ice spells Agi and Bufu, Dia for healing, and Rakukaja for a full party defense buff. Oh, and fun fact, not once did I ever have Rei cast Agi or Bufu. I mainly stuck to physical attacks. Lastly, on this menu, I'm going to mention that you can save at any point, so make sure to do so. If Rei dies, then you gotta load up a save. No auto-saving here. While navigating the sewers, you're bound to encounter demons of all sorts. And when you encounter them, it's a battle, where it's time to just be Devil Summoner. From the sound effects to the speed at which you can play, the game feels like a Devil Summoner game, recreated in RPG Maker. Naturally in battle there's a basic attack button. Rei's nunchucks actually get 2 attacks, which leads to some sizable damage. There's also the extras option, which allows demons and Rei to make use of special physical attacks. Rei can gain a few based on a future mechanic, but the gun she equipped earlier gives her access to some nifty skills, like Arm Shot, which can lower an enemy's attack. Unlike in the original games, this game takes notes from modern SMT games where physical skills cost MP instead of HP, so that's neat. Then there's magic, where you can cast element spells, healing spells, and status spells. Status spells are actually useful, especially during boss fights where they can give you some necessary breathing room, and items let you use items. They're very helpful. Also, when selecting an enemy to attack, you can hit the shift key to look at the enemy's resistances and current HP. This updates as you hit him with spells and junk, so make sure to use it. Rei also has a talk button that lets her engage in negotiation. Technically. The attempt was made to recreate negotiation and I appreciate it, but the only way for a demon to join you is if you give them everything they ask for. If you don't have something, well, sorry, the demon is just gonna refuse you at every opportunity. However, they'll still give you an item, which is helpful, because as far as I know, that's the only way to get healing beads. As in this game, I only ever had 2, neither of which were used for the final battle. Also, when recruiting demons, you have to be a higher level, which is easy to tell because while the game won't display the demon's level in combat, you should only try recruiting demons in a new area once you reach the next multiple of 5. For the most part, in this game demons are levels 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. When you get to a new area, you'll likely want to try and jump up to one of those numbers before recruiting, and I believe that covers the game's combat, which is swell. It's fast-paced and enjoyable, with a solid bit of strategizing that you'll see in the upcoming bosses. Back to the sewers. To progress, Rei needs to find multiple keys to descend down each level. Yeah, to find the keys, you just gotta explore every nook and cranny. You'll find the keys quite easily. Eventually arriving at the 3rd floor, where you'll encounter the game's first boss. They actually appear on the map as this red spot, and when you step onto it, you're given the chance to either proceed or step back to prepare. For this upcoming boss, my Rei was level 8 with the equipment I mentioned earlier, and my party had the starter Mandrake, an Onmaroki, and a knocker I negotiated for. I would recommend getting Onmaroki, he hits pretty hard with Agi and his basic attack. And knocker, while frail, does have Zio and Dia, so that's quite helpful. Mandrake, she's part of the team. Now that you know my squad, I step forward and engage the first foe, the man in black, Mad Gasser. He hits pretty hard. Make sure to lower his attack with Arm Shot from the revolver, and it doesn't hurt to use a Rakukaja spell. My knocker has it, especially since in this game, Rakukaja buffs the entire party. Also, stats can be buffed and debuffed twice, but they wear off after 5 rounds. All in all, this is a bit of a slapping match, where you want to keep on top of those 2 buffs and debuffs, make sure demons are slinging the best spells they have, and Rei, if she's got the nunchucks, she should just do her basic attacks. It does more than magic, and she'll be hitting for around 60 damage per turn, which was the most damage my party was dealing. Honestly, my party was driven to the edge and stretched as thin as we could, but by the end we were able to barely overcome it, thanks to Rei letting off one last arm shot, executing the Gasser, which leveled up Rei 3 whole times. I may have been... No, I was definitely underleveled for this fight. Gasser beaten, Rei can move forward 2 steps and instantly be taken out of the sewers, which also unlocks a shortcut that you can use to go straight to floor 3. Very kind of the creator Sai guy. And once you're outside, you get to see this adorable mechanic in full display, where the demons in these cute little chibi sprites actually follow you. Look at them, they're just so cute! So let's get rid of 2 of them, because I want to commit fusion. Oh yeah, this is a real Mega 10 game. Victor Frankenstein is currently setting sail to Amami City, but he left Rei a little fusion device in his hotel, and using that, I decided to fuse Mandrake, Obarion, and Onmaroki into a level 7 pixie. I did that by accident. When you select a fusion, you get asked yes or no, but if you press the cancel key on your keyboard, it gets treated as an accept button. So when looking at fusions, make sure to use the arrow keys to select no first. Otherwise, you might lose some of your good demons. Which did happen to me 3 times. Returning to Mary with the new pixie, I tried to inform her of the Gasser's defeat, but she doesn't care, instead sending me off to Chinatown to investigate the kidnapping of a girl. However, while I can just immediately go there, there is a side thing I can do first. If I hop back into the sewers and venture to the 4th level, you can find a hidden shop that sells better weapons and armor. And it's here where I buy my final skill set for almost the remainder of the game. Because you see, Rei Reiho does not learn new spells or attacks. She buys them as clothing. In this game, each outfit you purchase gives Rei abilities, stat increases, immunities, or new attacks. For instance, Rei's undershirt that she starts with gives you the seals Dia, Agi, and Bufu. But this sailor shirt I just bought gives Rei Arm Chopper, Deathbound, Karokaja, and Charge. Deathbound and Charge are the only 2 moves I use for the rest of the game, plus Rei's multi-hit nunchucks. Healing really isn't an issue since levels don't go very high, so using items and whatever the skills the demons have are viable. I love this mechanic because it just gives you so much freedom in how you want to build your Rei, and it adds on to the game's complexity, making you consider Rei's fit. I had several other options for physical weapons, but I denied them because it just really didn't mesh well with the sailor suit. Oh, and on top of the clothes, you can also change Rei's hairstyle. There's a lot of options, and Rei gains more hairstyles through exploration and interacting with everything. And, on an unrelated note, I did do a bit of grinding in the sewers while I was looking for that secret shop, and while doing that, I gathered footage of... well, this happened. I realized I should probably be recording this. I don't know what happened. I got jumped by what I think is a mini box. He just showed up and said, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." And it's taking toilet humor too far, and he's doing this as revenge for something? Because he wants to... his revenge is beating up people who hang out in the sewers for too long, I think. I don't know, it's just kind of grinded. Oh, I was incidentally grinding as I was watching a TC Nick 3 video, and oh god. Yes, I beat it in the end for a lot of XP, but that was crazy. Fun stuff just happens in this game, and I love it. Anyway, with some new levels and new gear, I head to Chinatown to find that missing girl. There, I'm aided by Guan Yu, who is a returning demon from Devil Summoner, who thanks Rei for her efforts in that game. He informs me that the girl was kidnapped by a villain and has been taken into a spiritual realm. Basically a second reality overlaid on top of the current one where demons roam. This happens in Devil Summoner games, Raidou included, all the time. And now Guan Yu throws me into that spiritual realm, where I met with a teleporter maze, which is a callback to the original Devil Summoner, I think. It's actually not that bad. You're basically trying to reach this yellow cross, which is north from where you start. Then you touch it and arrive here-ish. And then you want to follow this path to get to this teleporter, go through it, and then you'll want to go back into the teleporter you came from. And once you teleport somewhere else, go backwards one more time, and bam, you are teleported right to the boss's room. It's really not that bad, especially since after you take the wrong turn enough times, Guan Yu will chime in and say, "None of the paths work, try a new one. Look for something different." AKA, go backwards. I did spend most of my playtime in this area, but now you know the secret. Still, you should do your part to explore, cause you can find some nifty items. Like this Kipao, which looks super cute on Rei. I don't wear it. Anyway, let's go confront the boss. Going into battle, my Rei was a little over leveled due to my travels in Chinatown. She is currently level 17, but you can probably be like level 12 and still get through this. The boss is 3 demons, and it's a pretty tough fight. All 3 of these demons can mess you up, I think. Shan Xiao, the watermelon guy on the right, he died instantly to Rei's charged up Deathbound thanks to a crit that did like 600 damage. And on the turn before that, he got turned into a card by the spell Shuffle that my Jack-o'-lantern cast. As it dies, Shan Jiao urges his friends to kick my ass, which they can definitely still do. Jue Yuan, the guy in the middle, has numerous buffs on his party and deals hard-hitting single-target attacks while being very tanky. But the most dangerous one is Gu Hua Niao, who with the move Wing Flap can decimate my team. It's an attack that can hit multiple times, plus a single attack from her can deal about 90 damage, which in some cases will nearly KO Rei or another demon. Thankfully, if Rei does go down, it's not the end of the world as you can still swap demons in and out and can revive Rei with a bead or a recarm spell. I would also recommend using statuses like Stunning by spamming Zeal spells or something like Stun Claw, which my Kabuso had. They are very helpful because without the stun, I would have been too shot by these guys. After slaying them, I'm able to locate the child and Rei calms them. Guan Yu then returns to normal Chinatown, where the girl is sent back to her family. Now I have to go check in with Mary once again, but before continuing the plot, let's talk fit. This is what my current Rei is rocking. Golden nunchucks with a chance to stun, purchased from the sewer shop, black sailor pants that boost her vitality and agility, and a purse I bought in Chinatown that increases her XP by 20%. And then there's the hairstyle, the pixie scarf. This was a drop from a group of pixies that I killed when I wasn't recording. It boosts Rei's MP pool and gives her 5% MP regen every turn in combat. It's very good, and when used in conjunction with the outfit swapping, I basically have free healing for the rest of the game. Since in random encounters, Rei just kinda uses her basic attack with the occasional Deathbound. She isn't slinging spells, so she can regenerate everything she spends on Dia and healing the party after each battle. Back to the plot, before I leave Guan Yu, he offers to spar with me, saying that he'll give me a good reward if I can survive multiple rounds of combat against him. I decided that now's not the time for it since it's probably safer to get stronger first. So I head back to Mary, who gives me a lead on the potential whereabouts of the culprit who kidnapped the girl, because those demons were summoned, and that spiritual realm had to be created by some kind of supernatural entity. The only possible place they could be hiding is a nearby ticket building east of the Yaraiginza Mall, so I head there after getting lost with the map's orientation relative to the city map. In there, I come across Kumiko Hatano, descendant of Princess Inaruna and girlfriend of the Devil Summoner protag. Upon seeing Rei, Kumiko hands us her scarf, asking us to give it to him, the Devil Summoner protag, and to tell him to bring it back to her. She'll be waiting. Now, in-game, I don't think you can do that, but we can wear the scarf, even if it feels a little wrong. Anyway, our objective is to find the kidnapping culprit and kill him. So Rei traverses deeper into the ticket building, finding another spiritual realm. This is technically another teleporter maze, but I'll be honest, I didn't really get this one, because it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. You see, I just kept moving forward and taking each turn whenever I could. There's also an invisible wall gimmick inside of this dungeon that I did like it, but you are teleporting from one section to another section, and in each section you traverse multiple rooms to find switches that lead to connect areas, yeah. Like I said, I didn't really get this dungeon, I just kept walking. I have no tips for this area. I just made sure to recruit demons where I could and use the pixie scarf to ensure I never had to leave. Though I should say that after completing each section of this dungeon, if you head out, the game actually does give you checkpoints for each section, so no retracing steps. Super extra very kind of the Psy guy. Which brings me to the end of the dungeon, where I encountered the culprit, Takashi, famed Devil Summoner character, a former Yakuza grunt whose boss was a vampire that then turned him into a vampire, and they were working under Sid Davis. Until recently, he was possessed by the real Kyoji Kuzunoha, but Kyoji ditched him in order to acquire Sukaroku's body, meaning we are just dealing with Kyoji's carelessness here. Takashi, as a vampire, isn't really sane, and he's trying to do this in the name of Sid Davis, who is dead, and not yet returned from the dead to battle us. Anyway, now that you know him, it's time to kick his ass. He hits really hard, 2 punches from him and Rei will go down, so make sure to buff your defense and lower his offense. While he doesn't have many moves, he has a lot of muscle, so he doesn't really need more moves. Takashi will also spend turns regenerating, which I don't know how to stop, but eventually it does run out. Just keep dishing out damage as you can, as this is basically an endurance fight. You'll want to try and stun him too, or inflict any status on him. I think poison works. Eventually he'll go down because he's only one guy, and Rei Reiho is based. That dealt with, Rei heads back to report her success to Mary. And while heading back, I do just want to mention that when you're leaving, you can actually see light streaming in through the windows, and I just think that looks really cool. Additionally, before seeing Mary, I decided to pop into a local bar, and when chatting with some peeps, they mentioned seeing Rei enter the local TV station, which I never did. Very odd. I also go and do another spot of fusion. I picked up a lot of guys in the last area, and the best results from this fusion palooza were this Heckwitz and Rivu. Rivu can use items, so he's got value, and Heckwitz got a revival spell, and she's gonna be with me up until the final battle. Going to Mary, I also run into Officer Hideo Momochi. You'll never guess where he's from, who wants me to go and stop a poltergeist that's haunting the local TV station. Apparently down at the station they were filming a detective drama based around the events of Devil Summoner, and that seemingly angered all the ghosts. It sounds dangerous, so it's up to Rei to go and stop it. And checking in with Mary, she tells me to go do the police thing. So naturally I decide to go and give Guan Yu a visit. I'm level 22 now, and I feel pretty confident that I can take him, but Guan Yu is strong. Really, really strong. He actually gives you 1 free turn to prepare for his onslaught, so make sure to set up a few buffs and debuffs while you can. You'll need them. His basic attack is like the most dangerous, as it can hit up to 4 times and can just one-shot most demons, like my Jack Frost. Once you make it to turn 4, he'll charge up an attack called Mock Strike that hits every member of the party for close to 180 damage. Rei is barely standing, but she can't keep up yet. I can still swap demons into combat to replace the dead ones, as that is a free action. Thankfully, my Heckwit also survived the Mock Strike, and she can fully heal Rei with a diorama. From turn 8 onwards, Guan Yu starts using a move called Vacuum Wave that hits each party member. This one knocks Rei out again, but Jack-o'-lantern survives and is able to cast Recarm on her twice, getting Rei to survive all the way up to turn 12, until she eventually falls. For surviving 12 rounds, Rei is given 6,000 yen, 5,000 per round. Guan Yu is also impressed and hands Rei a double spear, a powerful weapon that hits twice, and is an improvement over Rei's current nunchucks. It's a good tool as we approach the endgame. Now, onto the TV station. There, the objective is made clear. Rei needs to reach the furthest level, where the big demon is, but that level is blocked off by doors that require security clearance. Which, to open up, I need 3 separate keycards, each with their own puzzle. The first keycard has this really fun puzzle where you need to reach this area while ensuring that each of the lanterns are turned on. You turn on the lanterns by walking through them. It's a nice little brain exercise, just go in a circle and make sure you enter the final room head on. It's not that difficult, I trust you. Now, for the second keycard, I don't actually know what the puzzle is. So like, upon entering the room, if you just go straight, right, then follow the wall down, you'll pick up the keycard. But then if you take a few steps, it'll be stolen. However, you can cheese this by picking up the keycard and casting trap wards to go directly to the Kuzunoha Detective Agency, letting you keep the keycard. Just don't walk back into the room, otherwise it'll get taken. Now, for the final keycard, it's a sliding puzzle with random encounters. I like it. It's a little annoying, but I don't know, I had fun. The goal is to basically end up in a room to the right of where you enter. You're basically trying to veer right whenever you can, because the room for sliding is really large. So it's quite easy to lose track of where you are, but with the mapper spell, you should be able to keep track of yourself, because you leave a little trail to show where you've been walking from. This room is all about patience and trying to go right. Take it nice and slow and go down each path. You'll eventually make it. And that'll get you keycard number 3. With all the keycards, we can now go and confront this poltergeist. Or so you'd think, because it's actually Rei Reiho's doppelganger. This right here is the mastermind behind the cases we've solved today, and it's none other than this creature who seems to be born from Rei's annoyance and dissatisfaction with Kyoji Kuzunoha for leaving with no notice, forcing us to clean up this mess. The battle begins, and I just gotta say, this is sick awesome. It's literally exactly like the doppelganger from Devil Summoner, complete with the darkness and the thunder. As for the battle itself, Doppelganger has a wide variety of spells, and will likely try casting a few status spells on you. I don't have any new advice because there's a lot of variance here. Doppelganger has so many options, and you the player do so as well, so prepare accordingly for this fight. There's also a small side quest you can complete before this battle if you feel like you need the extra boost. Remember that shop in the sewers? Yeah, they want a Mothman, and you can find that here in the TV station. Now, you can't actually recruit them because talking to them just results in the prompts not appearing and they just beat you up. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's intended. Regardless, it means you'll have to fuse one. And once you do that, you bring it to the shop, trade it to the owner, and you are granted the Zillionium, you are granted the Zillionium gun, which is one of the strongest weapons in the game. So, take that as you will if you need the boost. I didn't use it, I like my multi-hit attacks way more. After beating the doppelganger, she'll taunt Rei and says to meet her at the top of the radio tower for a real, final battle. Leaving the station to go heal, I run into Madame Ginkgo, who doesn't seem to care about the whole doppelganger situation. It is just a demon after all. What is important is the package that she hands Rei, a brand spanking new white outfit. Rei's canonical fit for the upcoming appearance in Soul Hackers. She then tells Rei to get a move on, and that she'll keep the car running so Rei can get going to Amami City. Bringing us to the endgame, you'll notice that in the menus, Rei's icon has changed to her Soul Hackers battle sprite. She looks so dynamic. We can even equip the white outfit to be canonical. It provides really good stat buffs, some healing, and top-notch spells. But this is my Rei, and she's gonna stay physical. So I throw back on the sailor suit and go buy a new weapon, the Sanji Gun, a 3-folded spear that is Rei's canonical weapon from Soul Hackers. However, it was really expensive. To afford it, I needed to engage in the game's highest level skill gameplay it offers. Gambling. As in demon racing. Yeah, that's right. At the weapon real estate shop, you can bet on demon races or enter your own demons. That's why every demon has the little chibi sprite on the map. They can all be used here in the demon races. It's so cute. And apparently Pyro Jack is super busted in these races. I entered him like 6 times and he won 5 of those races, earning me like 60 grand. More than enough to gear up for the final battle. There isn't much preparation I do aside from purchasing a black sailor suit for a new physical attack, Missile Punch. It's 3 random strong attacks. Cause like, the Sanji gun is really all I needed because the 3 attacks it lands are very strong. I don't even do fusion because it didn't feel necessary given the prior doppelganger fight. I just needed offensive Rei and for every demon to support her in whatever way they could. With my minimal preparation, level 28 Rei Reiho heads into her final battle, traversing the radio tower, which is the last dungeon but isn't very difficult. There's some loot and a lot of climbing ladders, but no real puzzles. So before you know it, you'll be facing off against Rei's doppelganger in a no-holds-barred deathmatch. This is like the prior fight on steroids. So in other words, this fight is crazy fun. It's a real challenge and a genuine treat. The doppelganger has around 6,000 HP, she hits hard, she has a lot of spells, and my demons were defeated in this bout. So make sure that you have someone with recarb or a few revival beads. Making this fight more difficult is how the doppelganger, after it's lost its first chunk of HP, will start summoning past bosses to aid it in combat, starting off with Mad Gasser, who can poison you. I didn't mention that in the initial fight because, well, it wasn't that long, but here, this poison is deathly because it's a lengthy battle. She can also summon Yu Hua Niao, whose wing attack is just as deadly as it was 3 dungeons ago. In this fight, Rei went down a few times, but the Hequet I fused ages ago came in clutch so many times with recarb, while Nekomata, a thing I've negotiated for recently, kept the party afloat thanks to her item usage, giving helpful MP recovery items. This Quicksilver dealt solid damage, but in Rei Reiho's awesome adventure, the only one who can overpower the doppelganger is Rei. This fight is tooth and nails. Rei's side is barely clinging on, while the doppelganger keeps launching attack after attack, never ceasing and applying constant pressure. However, while the demons are barely holding their own, Rei is the only one who can actually end this, as the doppelganger cannot handle Rei's patented Missile Punch, and bit by bit Rei wears down her faker. Also, fun fact, the doppelganger, it resists all physical damage by 75%. So, I was really handicapping myself right there. I'll admit it, I was very underprepared for this fight, and this was my first attempt. So, by the end of this bout, every demon in my stock was dead. My item stock was in ruins, but that's okay, because Rei was still on her feet, able to launch one final missile strike, eradicating the doppelganger once and for all. With the battle over, I chained Rei into her canonical fit, and she heads out of the radio tower to meet Madame Ginkgo to ride on to Soul Hackers, where I'm then met by credits, finishing the game. Now, I gotta say it, that truly was an awesome adventure. Playing this game is so worth it, and I gotta give props to Saigai and all the wonderful people who put together this experience. It really does feel like Devil Summoner. It's so fun. Even if you watch this whole video, please go ahead and give this game a shot, because there are so many options for Rei's customization, so many skill combinations. There's weapons and demons I didn't use. There's also loads of dialogue that I didn't mention because I wasn't recording at the time. Bro, I didn't even mention half of the references in this game to other Mega 10 stuff. Like, in the outfits, you can dress up like Naomi from Soul Hackers. You can get Namisa's fit. Hell, there's even a few Persona 2 references, like mention of the New World Order. All in all, this is a short and sweet adventure that is absolutely worth your time if you are in the market for an awesome adventure. I am glad I played this game. It is top tier, and it has me fiending for more Devil Summoner content. With all of that said, that has been the Rei Reiho's awesome adventure experience. I have been a Zamen, and a thank you very much for watching this video. And consider sticking around if you don't hate my voice. My sole goal is to improve my writing editing, and speaking as I go on. Goodbye.